Easy, Sidi. Easy. I'll read Bismillah. We were doing that hadith there. Okay, we were doing this hadith here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن عائشة قالت إن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كفن في ثلاثة أثواب يمانية بيض سحولية من كرسف ليس فيها قميص ولا إمامة متفق عليه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. Right, the authority of Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha, she said that there Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was buried in three cloths, Yemeni, white, and Sahuli. I told you it's actually referred to a place which was named after a person called Sahul. Or Sahulia could also mean white. And Kursuf also here also means like Kursuf means also like a white type of a cloth, right? So Kursuf means it is made out of white thread. Kursuf means it is made out of white thread. Nah? So then the thing is here now, I told you the difficulty we have with this hadith here is this here. I mentioned to you yesterday that according to the Ahnaf, a male is buried in three cloths. One is the lifafa, which is right at the bottom, right? And then you got the izar, which also covers the whole body, so to say. And the kameez is like a long cloth, which has like a hole in the middle. So the one part goes under the body of the mayit, and the head protrudes through it, and then the top is wrapped over the top of the body, right? Are you with me? So that is the qamis. So here it says here, لَيْسَ فِيهَا قَمِيسٌ وَلَا إِمَامَةٌ. So there was three cloths, and from amongst the three cloths, there was no qamis and there was no imama. Are you with me? So there's two ways the ulama have explained, try to make intibaq of this here. So one explanation is you take it in the literal sense that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's kafan, it had three cloths, and from amongst the three cloths there was three cloths besides the qamis and the imama. You understand what I'm saying? That means he was buried in three cloths. He had three cloths, but from those three cloths, there was no qamis and no imama. So there was three cloths, but the qamis was replaced with something else, maybe with a normal plain cloth or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? You understood that? Is it clear? That's one way of looking at it. And another way of looking at it is this here, that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was buried in three cloths besides a qamis and imama, which effectively means, if I say three people came here, there's three people came besides Zayd and Amr. So it means what Zayd and Amr is five people. You understand what I'm saying? You see? So one explanation would be this here, that there were three cloths, and from amongst the three cloths, one wasn't a qamis. It wasn't fashioned into the shape of a qamis. It wasn't fashioned into the shape. It was a cloth, but not fashioned exactly like into a qamis, right? And then the other one is this here. I told you it would mean that there were three cloths, but besides the three cloths, there was another two cloths, right? So that means it effectively means that Nabi Sallallahu was buried in five cloths, right? So Hazrat Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala, Hazrat Imam Shafi rahimahullah ta'ala, and Hazrat Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, they are of the opinion that look, that the deceased will be buried in three cloths, like I told you. And the three cloths will be besides a qamis. You won't have a qamis. You'll have three cloths, maybe the lifafa and another cloth and another cloth, but it will not be fashioned into a qamis. You understand what I'm saying? But the Ahnaf, they say no, that the one cloth will be fashioned into a kameez. And I explained you, I showed you yesterday what it is. It's just basically a long cloth with a head portion that goes in between, right? So one is what you say, the lifafa, the izhar, and the kameez, right? So what this hadith could also mean here is this, that there were three cloths, but the one cloth was used like as a plain cloth. It wasn't sewed into, or it wasn't cut into the shape of a kameez, right? So, okay, there was semantics there, but anyway, let's move on to the next hadith. So we sorted that out now. I hope you've got the explanation. Let's move into the next hadith. Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. An Jabirin qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إذا كفن أحدكم أخاه فليحسن كفنه رواه Muslimun. Right in the authority of Jabir, he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that when إذا كفن أحدكم أخاهم, when any one of you people shrouds his brother, فليحسن كفنه, then he should make it nice. Ahsana yasilu means to give him a good kafan, right? Rawah Muslim, Imam Muslim narrates this particular riwayat. So there's an amr. So here in the Shara, there is a nice explanation of what is meant by ihsan, to do the kafan good. One is do the complete, all three cloths, the lifafa, the izar, the kameez. That's one sifat of ihsan. Don't fall short. If you can afford to, if the mate has left sufficient funds in his estate, that's the first thing. The second thing is this: if you can afford, there's availability of white, then the coffin should be done in white. And the third thing, to make ihsan also means to do it in moderation, not to make israf. So it doesn't mean you must now you say, no, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said you must make the kafan beautiful. Now you go overboard, very expensive kafan. My kafan must come from Dubai. It must be Piakadin. It must be Gucci, or it must be Bidun al-Ism, or whatever like that. So that's also part of ihsan. So remember this here now. This is ihsan also when we say you must do something good. Like Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, إِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنُوا الْقِتْلَةَ. Even when you're going to kill, when you're going to slaughter an animal, then do it properly, right? When you're going to slaughter an animal, do it properly. The knife must be sharp. Don't let the animal suffer, etc., etc. So also we learn from this, what explanation I'm giving you here, that when a Muslim does something, you must do it properly. And part of doing something properly is what? That you do not go overboard and you do not waste. Are you with me? And also here, one explanation is that you shouldn't do them more than the necessary. We know, proven from the Sunnah, is three cloths for the male, the lifafa, the izar, and the kameez. So you shouldn't go overboard. And here also, it's not necessary. It must be also like brand new. Sometimes you can't afford even a used cloth, but if it's washed nicely, etc. So to go overboard and spend unnecessary, that is also madhmoom. It is something which is not wanted in the Sharia. Okay, read the next hadith. Ismail, who read last? You read? You read?
قال إن رجلا كان مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فوقصته أخته وهو محرم فمات فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اغسلوه بماء وستر وكفنوا به بطيب ولا تخمروا رأسه فإنه يبعث يوم القيامة ملبيا. متفق عليه.
وسنذكر حديث مفعول وسنذكر حديث
خباب رضي الله عنه قتل مصعب بن عمير في باب المنافق إن شاء الله تعالى.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. An Abdullah ibn Abbas narrating the authority of Abdullah ibn Abbas قال إن رجلا كان مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. There was a person with Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم while they were making Hajj, right? فوقصته ناقته. So you can say وقصت his camel, maybe he had a naughty camel, untrained camel. His camel trampled him. What happened? His camel trampled him. ومحرم while he was in ihram. Right, so he's male, had his two ihram clothes on. فمات, and as a result of that he passed away. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اغسلوه بماء وسدر. Then bathe him with ماء and sidr. وكفنوه في ثوبيه, and bury him in the same two clothes that he had on him, right? ولا تمسوه بطيب, and do not apply any type of perfume on him. Kafur, camphor is a perfume. ولا تخمروا رأسه, and do not cover his head. فإنه يبعث يوم القيامة, because he will be resurrected on the day of Qiyamah. ملبيا, making the talbiya لبيك اللهم لبيك. متفق عليه, the متفق عليه رواية. وسنذكر حديث خباب, and we will mention the hadith of Khabbab later on. You know Khabbab ibn al-Arat, in which Hazrat Khabbab mentions قتل مصعب بن عمير, that Mus'ab ibn Umayr was killed, right? في باب جامع المناقب, in the chapter of the comprehensive of the virtues, inshallah ta'ala, inshallah. What do you understand from this hadith here? Even online people can tell me, what do you understand from this hadith? Tell me what you understand from this hadith. Just think about it, give you a minute, just from the zahir of the hadith, what do you understand from this hadith here? Just read it again and tell me. Online people, tell me also, what do you understand from this hadith? What do you understand? What do you understand? Nothing. Yeah, so what the hadith is saying is when a person passes away in ihram, he will be kept in a state of ihram. He will be kept just with the two cloths. So to say his face will also be exposed, right? And also you won't put any fragrance, etc., on him, etc., etc., right? So that is what the hadith is suggesting, that if you pass away in ihram, you will be buried in ihram. Like how a living person, you respect the laws of ihram. Even for a deceased person, with the face open, that is what the hadith is correct. What I say, ihram is almost like your kafan. Yeah. So in other words, because you pass away in ihram, the laws of ihram will still be applicable to you. And like the hadith said, kama tamutun tuhsharun, like how you pass away, that is how you will be gathered on the day of Qiyamah, right? Okay, just one, two, three things here. Waqasathu. Waqasat means to break your neck. So the camel broke his neck, kicked him or trampled him or something like that. So they were going for Hajj, etc. So Nabi Sallallahu Kaffinuhu fi thawbayhi. So I told you that what it means, like treat him as though he is still in ihram. Don't put any perfume on him, kafur. Bury him in his ihram clothes. In water, yeah. Now sidr you can, is it? Sidr bima'in wa sidrin. So sidrin is not considered to be a fragrance. considered to be a cleansing agent, so to say. Kafur is the fragrance, right? So now, this is what the hadith suggests. Now the question is, do we make amal upon this hadith as it is? As Imam Shafi'i and as Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, they make amal upon the zahir of this hadith. They say that if a person passes away in ihram, etc., right, then you will do exactly as this hadith suggests here. You'll wash him with my sidr, and you will bury him with his two ihram cloths, etc., etc. But so that was Imam Shafi and as Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. But Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik, Darul Hijrah, they say that the ihram of a muhrim and a ghair muhrim is both the same. So in other words, according to the Hanafi madhab and the Maliki madhab, the normal laws will apply. That when a person passes away, he comes out of ihram, you will do the normal bathing, you'll do the normal kafan, dafan, and you bury the person. So what does this hadith mean then? We say, Hanaf say the other hadith, many other hadith that suggest that you'll treat this person as a normal deceased. This here is a once-off incident. So in all probability, it points that this was the speciality of this particular Sahabi. So the other hadith suggests that he will be treated like a normal deceased. It could be, I told you in previous times, there was a great shortage of cloth also. So it could be also that that maybe there was a shortage of cloth. That's why he was buried. So remember, we told you one is the sunnat cloth, and one is the what? The masnoon. Sorry, one is the sunnat, the masnoon, and one is, they say, the bare minimum. Just you can say the farz. Right? So they're saying here, the reason why we say that this was the exception to the rule, it was not the normal rule, because many other people passed away in the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, they will perform. Somebody said their mic is not unmuting here. Just check there. I think Ashraf Ibrahim, just check. Everything is right. Right, sorted. Okay. Right, so there are other hadith. So that's why I told you, it's not just about as simple as saying we follow hadith and this is the most authentic hadith in the Bab, so we follow this hadith. You look at, that is was the work of the fuqaha. This was the work of the Imam Mujtahideen. They look at all the hadith together jointly, and then they would extract a law. So here, it's clear mentioned here, maybe not going into the detail, there are many other instances where Sahaba Ikram passed away in ihram and they were buried like a normal deceased. And also, to lend credibility to that opinion, even the Sahaba Ikram, there are many instances where they did not practice upon this hadith. When somebody passed away in ihram, okay, they did person a normal burial, right? Okay, read the next hadith. Right. So narrating the authority of Ibn Abbas, he said that Rasulullah said, "Ilbathu min thayabikum al-bayada," that wear from amongst your clothes white. So you see, to wear white is also encouraged from the hadith, and especially also on a Friday. Ilbathu min thiyabikum al-bayada, right? Right? فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ خَيْرِ ثِيَابِكُمْ. It is the best of your clothes. وَكَفِّنُوا, and besides wearing it whilst you are alive also, وَكَفِّنُوا فِيهَا مَوْتَاكُمْ, and bury in it your disease as well, right? And from the base of the kuhl is that is to put on your eyes an antimony, right? Is that powder that comes from the ismid rock, right? Really, it makes the hair grow well, right? And it gives nur to the sight, right? ويجلو البصر. رواه أبو داود والترمذي وابن ماجة إلى موتاكم. So Abu Dawud narrates this narration, Imam Tirmidhi narrates this narration, and Ibn Majah narrates this narration, but he only narrates Ibn Majah's narration. You got إلى موتاكم وكفنوا فيها موتاكم, just till there. So from this hadith you learn that to bury the deceased in white is mustahab. It's not farz. So the male and the female, it is mustahab. And also you learn here that the color is the same for the male and the female. So if any other cloth is used, a different color is used, etc., etc., then there's no problem. It's just mustahab. It's not to say it's farz. Ismid, I told you, is actually a type of a rock or stone which is ground up. And then this is used as a kuhl. Very beneficial for your eyesight, etc. And they say you have to put this ismid on your eyes at night before sleeping. It's very beneficial also for the eyes. So just coming back to the other one, ilbasu min thiyabikum al-bayada. Right, wear from your clothes white. So nowadays, you know, this touch on some separate topic here. Nowadays, you see the South African Muslim women community, they mostly wear black. They wear black abaya art, etc., etc. Where did this come from? This is something they picked up from the Arabs. If you go till before the 90s and 80s, you see the South African women never only wear black, 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 black. So it's good in the sense that it is, look, the whole idea of a woman's clothing is it shouldn't be attractive. It shouldn't attract attention. So in that sense of the word, it's good, but there's no particular virtue to wear black. You understand what I'm saying? So there's three things I'm telling you. The first thing is this culture of wearing black, black, black. It's not proven from the Quran or the Sunnah or anything. It is something that especially once the South Africans started becoming more affluent and they started traveling to Saudi Arabia and they saw the Arabs there, all the GCC countries like Qatar, Kuwait, then they picked this up from them. So technically speaking, to wear another color besides black is not problematic for a woman. Yes, to wear something which is flashy and attractive, that is not on. But black per se, so if somebody wears something besides black, you won't say this is against the spirit of Islam. Because I was telling you, this black, which the South African ladies wear, you see, if you look, you see they're only wearing a black abaya, etc., etc. This is something that they picked up from the Arabs. No, not and particularly the Khaliji Arabs, those that come from Saudi Arabia and the surrounding countries, which we call as the GCC countries, Gulf Cooperation countries. But technically speaking, any color that is etc., that will be acceptable, it won't be a problem, right? So if a white is also, it won't be a problem. In fact, according to this here, ilbasu min thiyabikum al-bayada. But now only problem, if a woman wears a white here, we're so used to seeing black. You know, if a woman is coming to white, it will attract attention again. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, read the next hadith. I got la taghalu. What you got? Taghala. What you got? Taghala, Taghala, Yataghala, Taghala. That makes more sense, yeah. You got a pen there for me. Yeah. وعن علي narrating authority of Ali said, Rasul said, do not be excessive. لا تغالوا في الكفن with regards to the kafan. فإنه يسلب سلبا سريعا. It will be snatched away, a quick snatching. رواه Abu Dawud. Abu Dawud narrates a particular riwayat. Have you got any explanation with regards to this here in the kitab? Huh? Al-Bala. Yeah, Bala means what? Huh? Yeah, what you got? Nothing. Bala. So it perishes. So I was thinking, originally I thought there's no explanation in my kitab here. I was thinking it means it will be snatched, like it will be stolen. But I think what you're saying makes more sense. So look, there is another hadith there that says that you must make the kafan nice, etc. And you're saying you mustn't be excessive. So what does it show you? That it shouldn't be like completely cheap line, just some, oh, this, as it is, this is going to be discarded, etc. I mean, as it is, this is going to perish. So you might as well just use any old cheap cloth. And at the same time, do not be over excessive. So, like how the hadith say, وَخَيْرَ الْأُمُورِ أَوْسَطُهَا, the best is like we have, you buy a nice new cloth, right? So narrating the authority of Ali radiallahu ta'ala, he said, the Rasul said, do not be excessive with regards to the kafan, because yuslabu, so we'll go with that explanation that you got. I thought originally it means it will be snatched, but it means it will perish very, very quickly in the grave. So what's the point? It's pointless. Rather, take that extra money of the deceased, but actually look, the expenses comes from the estate. So if you're going to be excessive, that means you are depriving the heirs of their right, because you are using too much of the estate money in something which is not necessary, which is an unnecessary expenditure. Okay, read the next hadith.
وعن ابي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه انه لما حضره الموت دعا بثياب جدد فلبسها ثم قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول الميت يبعث في ثيابه التي يموت فيها رواه ابو داود.
Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, narrating the authority of the Abi Sa'id al-Khudri, he said that when death had come present to him, he could see now the signs of death is coming. The Abi Thiyabin Jududin, he called for nice new clothes, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Falabisa, he wore it, thumma qala, and he said, Sami'atu Rasulullah sallallahu I heard the Nabi say, Yaqulu al-Mayt, the deceased, Yub'athu fi thiyabi allati yamutu fiha, he will be resurrected in the clothes that he dies in it. Rawahu Abu Dawud. So this, Abu Dawud narrates this. So this doesn't refer to here now the kafan. You know, there's a hadith says, it says, Kama tamutun tuhsharun, like how you lived your life. That is how you, Kama tahyawna tamutun, wa kama tamutun tuhsharun, like how you live your life. If you lived your life in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will die in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you die in the obedience of Allah ta'ala, this is how you will be resurrected on Qiyamah Day. So this is something similar to this, that you, like how you live your life, that is how you will die, and how you die, that you how you will be resurrected. So Allah ta'ala give us the tawfiq to live our life in a good way, so that we die in a good way and we be resurrected on Qiyamah Day in a good way, right? So judud here refer to new clothes. So we know that there's a hadith that says that on the plains of Qiyamah, a person will be uratan, ghurlan, etc. That a person, Qiyamah Day, will be what? Naked, uncircumcised, barefooted, etc., etc. So what then does this hadith mean? So some ulama attempt to explain it in this manner, that what it means is that initially when you come out of your qabr, you will have maybe your clothes on. Tuhsharu kama tahyawna, like how you lived your life. But after that, then you will be stripped of your clothes, right? Remember, there's another hadith where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that a person will be naked. There's Aisha Siddiqa, that how will a man be able to see the woman? So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, you will be more preoccupied, you will be more consumed on that day with your own najat, with your own success, than worrying about seeing anybody that is naked, right? Some ulama, just to try to explain away the outward contradiction, they say, yeah, it doesn't mean physical clothes, but what it could mean is that your a'mal. That is why if you look at this verse here also, that in the Quran, in Surah Muddathir, وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ, and your clothes, keep it clean. Some mufassirin say it means keep your a'mal pure, keep your a'mal clean, etc. So it doesn't mean here that as Sa'id Khudri radiallahu ta'ala who asked for physical clothes, but he was saying that I want to be on my best amal. I want to be on my best a'mal when I pass away. So he was speaking about being clean, about being pure, about having a ghusl. Okay, let's stop the Mu'ana is here. We'll continue tomorrow, inshallah. Bas. Subhanallah bihamdihi, subhanakallah bihamdihi, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta.